Hey guys, so today I want to talk about Volskaya Industry, particularly some strategies to do on it, as well as just the basics of the map. This is for new players and intermediate players as well. Experts might learn something, but essentially this is based mostly for new players. So to start off, Volskaya is a map it's one of the newer maps done by Overwatch, or it's based off of an Overwatch map. There are 3 objectives on the map. There's one at mid, one at top, one at bottom. They're all essentially the same. You hold the zone, but they are mapped out a little bit differently. For example, the middle one has treadmills that push you up into it. The top one has treadmills on the sides that push you out of it. And the bottom one has treadmills that spin you in and out of it. There are simple camps. These ones drop turrets instead of pushing like normal camps do, as well as these ones push like normal camps do, and this one drops another item similar to the turret where you can pick it up and use it whenever, but instead it is a totem that heals you heals you health as well as mana. So those are the objectives that are available on this map, and what I recommend is, because mid lane is so close to top lane, I recommend you do a 4-1 composition. What that means is you have one person solo lane, and you have 4 people go from mid to top. So you clear the wave mid, and then you go top. And then you clear the wave top, and you go mid. It makes it very difficult for the enemies to gank you while you're grouped up as 4, and it also makes it easy for you to gank the enemies if they're rotating in a separate area. Say, for example, they put 2 top, 2 mid. You can send 4 top through this direction and kill their 2 top, and there's nothing that the enemies can do about it. So I recommend a 4 mid and top, then a solo laner bot. So in this case, we picked Leoric for the solo laner, which I am playing Leoric, and we have the rest of the team for a 4-man. So if you'd like to know who drafts really well on Volskaya, the first thing to know is that Volskaya tends to last a long time, which means that playing people like Nazebo or Alexstrasza, who have very strong late games, are very good choices to make. The other ones that are very good is you want a strong solo laner, someone like Leoric, Sonya, Malthael, something like that, and you want other people who thrive in 4-man situations, like Stukov, for example. In my opinion, he's the strongest healer in a 4-man situation because he's constantly healing 4 people at a time, and he can do giant silence areas, which are really, really strong. ETC is very good for 4-man as well because he can do 4-man mosh pits. So that's effectively how you want to be drafting for this map. Is you want to focus on a little bit of wave clear, but you really want to focus on people who thrive in situations with 4 and people who thrive in situations alone. Doing camps is relatively useful on this map. It's not as good as a lot of other maps, but you will want to pretty much down these turret camps every time they're up. You want to collect enough turrets to where when the objective spawns, you can just place a bunch of turrets and you can hold the objective for a long period of time. You need to hold the objective for a little over 1.5 minutes. Oftentimes it averages more than 2 minutes before you can get the objective, and I'm going to speed up to the first objective, because with the objective there's very specific things that I recommend you do, and on this case I am the driver, so it really helps out because I do exactly what you should be doing whenever you get the objective. So as you can see, you hold the zone, it starts counting up. When it hits 100, you get the objective, and then the enemies can contest it, but while they're contesting it, it still counts. It only stops counting when it goes yellow. So as we can see, we get the objective pretty easily. Another fight happens. I get them off the point, and I get ready so that I can drive. The first person that goes in becomes the driver, and the second person that goes in becomes the gunner. So a quick showing of what the abilities are. As the driver, you have a delayed ability that charges, and it deals a lot of damage to structures. You have a W, which can turn off structures and root enemies. You have an E, which gives you armor, and it gives your allies around you shield. This is great for if the enemies try to fight you. Then, as the gunner, you have a charge-up thing that increases the range, but it doesn't increase the damage. So if you're shooting this at someone who's close, don't charge it up, simply just fire it. You have a gun, which the amount of ammo is shown by the pink bar right here. And then you have a laser, which does an initial small amount of damage, and then after 1 second it does a chunk of damage. You're going to see all of these abilities being used quite a bit. And what I like to do with the protectors, the first few protectors I use simply just to get us winning to where we can get the next protector. Late game protectors are very powerful, so I use those to win the game, but early game protectors are very weak, so I only use them to get us more protectors. So what I like to do is I like to turn off one tower, destroy the other tower, and then I always destroy the fountain in the lane that's going to have the next objective. So in this case, I destroy this tower, and I immediately move top because I know the next objective is going to be top, so I want to destroy the fountain. So I decide I turn off one tower, I destroy the other tower, I move in close, destroy the fountain, and then I go back to make sure that this tower is destroyed. This makes it to where in the next team fight that we have a fountain and they don't. When you start running out of time or running out of health, I usually use the protector to just get some kills. One thing to know about the protector is when you have the protector, you need to understand that you're missing 2 people in your team. So if you focus all of your effort on destroying a fort, the enemies can easily walk in and get a lot of kills. So you have to alternate between getting forts and dealing damage to scare them off. But overall, the protector, there's a lot of ways you can play it out, and there's a lot of ways it can be very valuable. And when you're playing Leoric and you have Entomb, watch for kills, because people keep going in bad positions against Entombs, and I don't know why. So yeah, that's essentially how you should be doing your first protector. You should always be going for this. And then your next protector, because the next objective is up here, you want to go down here, and you want to destroy this fountain. That gives you the next protector. And then the last protector, this one right here, you can usually use to get a keep. And from this keep, the next objective is going to be mid, which means that the enemies are going to be distracted from this. So you can see this map can be a very snowball-y map. So now I'm going to give you guys the strategies of how do you stop the snowball. Well, firstly, if you can get more camps than the other person, say the other team's screwing around, if you can get more camps and hold on to more turrets, then the enemy won't be able to get the objective because you're constantly having to deal with them at these camps. So you want to get as many of these turrets as you can do, and if the enemies start doing it, try to steal it. As you can see, Diablo stole that turret from us because we all thought someone else would get it. So you want to be using your capabilities of getting the camps as fast as possible and hold on to them. You can lose one objective and then collect all of these turrets multiple times and then have 4 for the next objective and use that objective to start snowballing the lane. So sometimes you have to pass an objective by holding on to turrets, and it's a little tricky, but in Team League you kind of have to do it. Now in Hero League, I find that you don't really need to do this because people aren't this coordinated in Hero League. They're not going to be using the protector to be getting the right things at the right times. Instead, they're simply just going to be getting the protector, rushing down a lane, and being done with the game. So one thing that I like to do is I like to sit in this corner if I don't know where the enemies are and if I know my team's kind of far away. It's a safe corner on this objective just because I have vision if they come in this way. I can also see if they appear this way because it'll pop up contested. I can see if they're coming this way, and I have an easy escape this way. The reason why I don't like people hiding up here, which I see so many people do, is because when you go up here, you only have one direction where you can leave, which is down here. So if they have 2 people, one's going to go in this way and one's going to go up this way, and you're dead. There's nothing you can do. So I don't really like people going up here. I like simply hiding here, and you can see what I'm talking about. I start getting this, I start getting some value, and just watch down here, or up here, I can't remember. I think it's down here. Contested. That means that I know someone's right here. So I watch the map very closely. I see that Thrall's coming my way. I do still have an escape if he comes up to me, but I do want to save Wraithwalk because it's kind of a long cooldown right now. So I pretty much just want to walk away when I see them getting kind of close. Alright, and then we go for a fight. You can see something here is that we drop down the healing thing here because we drop down a turret. If the enemies would have gotten the turrets and used them correctly, we really could have a lot of trouble on this fight. But because the enemies don't have any of these items, they can't come back from this. They don't have fountains, so we can walk back and get fountains, but they can't. So they're guaranteed to lose this objective. What they should have done was they should have held on to some turrets. They should have held on to or tried to invade and get this, and use that to win this objective. If they would have won this objective, they could have done the same thing that we did. They could have destroyed the fountain down here, and that would have guaranteed that they would win the next objective. But instead, they make a lot of mistakes. They don't get that. And the next objective, what do? I drive it all the way down to the bottom, and I destroy the fountain. Which means we have this guaranteed to win the next objective. As long as we get a couple of the camps, we're good to go. So those are the strategies on Volskaya. If you're ahead, you use every objective to get you to the next objective until you're in late game. When you're in late game, the protectors are very strong. Use the protectors to just get keeps. And once you have keeps and a protector, it's easy to take a full health protector and take down the core. If you're behind, you need to put your focus on the camps and on your focus on soaking. It's okay to pass one objective as long as you can have a plan on how to get the next objective. Or if you're just in lower rank, for example, and you're not in Team League and people aren't that coordinated, simply just get a camp every time it's up and make sure that you use turrets at the right times. Or if you win one objective, make sure that it goes in the right place. You could lose 5 objectives and still win 1 at the right time and still make it win you the game. So if you're driving, you now know what to do. The other tips that I would give is while driving, make sure to utilize your, I would just say practice your abilities on driving and as well as shooting. And you can practice both of those by going into custom game. And there is something that you can test out, particularly on this map, that allows you to spawn an objective in a custom game. And you can practice with it. So I'd highly recommend doing that. And again, with this, I like giving this to tanks, and I like giving turrets to healers. The reason for this is because, if I haven't mentioned this already, I probably have, because if your healer has the healing thing, which is what everyone thinks you should do, which you shouldn't do, if your healer has the healing thing and the healer gets split away from the team, your team loses all of their healing. But let's say, for example, a tank has the healing thing and the healer has a turret, it allows the turret, or the healer, to drop down a turret if they get dived on, as well as the front line can drop down a heal if the healer's too afraid to get in the front line. So you always want to have like your front line with the heal or ranged DPS with the heal. You don't want to have your healer with the heal. You want the healer to have the turrets. Or if you just don't trust your team with something, then you can definitely do that as well. I entombed and then lowered their damage and then followed up with a swipe so I could get my E off cooldown again. And then I used it to kill her. I like Leoric. I think he's fun. I really think he's a cool hero. But yeah, so the rest of this is we're pretty much setting up. We destroy a keep. And again, this is another thing that you can do. An objective spawning bot. So we destroy a keep so that we can have catapults always pushing top so that the enemies are distracted. It guarantees us win another objective. That, again, all of these things added together are the major strategies for Volskaya Industry and how you can win this map every time by simply utilizing the objectives and the camps at the right times. Unlike most maps where I recommend certain times to get the objective, or sorry, to get the camps because you want to push them while they're doing objectives. For this map, I like to get camps every time they're up just so that we have a bunch of turrets going. But early game, it can be a little tough to do that if you're not playing someone who can do camps very quickly. I decided to go top instead, and again, in lower ranks, you'll see that people would have just pushed this keep in, but because we had a keep available, I walked it all the way top. I only wasted, 20 seconds, and this makes it where we don't have to destroy a keep just to get to this. And what I said earlier was if there's a keep available and you have a full health protector, it's pretty much a guaranteed win. So that's what we do. We take this full health protector, and we get a couple kills, and we just start punching down the core. Full health protector in less than a minute wins the game. So that is Volskaya Industry. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And I do want to ask, I'm going to be finishing these, going through all of the rest of the maps over the course of this weekend as well as next week. I adjusted the monitor that I'm using, and I want to ask people if it still is working correctly. So please tell me how everything is working and if everything's working okay. Assuming everything's working okay, then I will keep doing videos this way. If not, I might need to change some settings because I did change my monitor, and I don't think OBS is really liking my new monitor. Anyways, if you like these videos, throw it in the comments below, and thank you so much for watching.